Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with Good Morning Portugal Show, a live stream and podcast. How are you today? Tudo bem? Como estás? Do let me know it in the chat. And maybe you could change your name this morning to your Portuguese name. This is a fun game. Sorry, I'm still there's a scientific or a physics equation that relates the amount of time before the show starts and the amount of time you've got to eat a pastel de nata. And it didn't work out terribly well. I broke the formula this morning. Sorry. Yes, Carlitos Colina here. This is a game we were playing last night on the Portugal Club meeting, and it was great. Lots of people turned up. It was a fairly muted announcement because places on the screen. It's a mixed blessing, isn't it? You know, isn't it lovely when lots of people turn up to an online meeting, but also isn't it difficult to manage loads of people on tiny little screens on one big screen? So it was perfect last night. A nice showing of Portugal Clubbers of Gumpers from 8:30. A very noisy cat here for some reason. I don't know what do you want? Sorry. Quite a lot going on. Partially digested pastel de natas, noisy cats, a cup of tea that hasn't been drunk yet. Well, let's see what happens this morning. And craft beer corner today. Astrid popping in before 9, and Owen, of course. I got a message from Owen before the show. I'll come back to Portuguese names in just a moment, and you might like to take part in the game as well. This morning, I'll mainly be cooking these chocolate-covered cream puffs. Oh, he's excelling himself from the eclairs, and now chocolate-covered cream puffs for May Day and my Portuguese neighbours. Oh, that's another thing. Happy May Day. And maybe you could tell us what's going on around your way this morning. Shush. Look, you can come and sit on my lap, but enough of the noise, okay? We're trying to do a show here. Right, where was I? May Day, of course. Dia de Trabalhadores. I think that's how you say it. It's Workers' Day here in Portugal, and it's been celebrated since 1890. It was a huge, huge celebration on the 1st of May of 1974. Of course, one of the biggest flockings to the street of Portuguese people, which you don't hear a lot about. But there was a massive expression of freedom, not only on the 25th of April, but on the 1st of May of 1974. So an important day in the Portuguese calendar, historically, and today, of course. Don't expect to get anything done bureaucratically. A lot of places, government offices and so on will be shut today. So enjoy the day. Why not stay at home and make a few eclairs yourself? Now, Jenny, will you calm down? And she's not calming down at all. Okay. How are you feeling today? Could be worse. You could be feeling like this fella here. And let me just take off the ticker tape for a moment. This is hilarious. I saw this, I think it was on Pure Portugal. One of the first groups actually I connected with when I first came to Portugal years ago, and have had various connections with Pure Portugal. Shout out to the crew over there. Good morning to you, Claire. I don't know if I should cook this potato or take it to the hospital. Look at that. We've all felt like that at times, haven't we? Boil me. Just do it. Mash me, boil me, chip me. Enough. cruel world. So there you go. Hopefully you don't feel like that potato this morning. Well, and yes, your Portuguese name then. This is what we start. Thank you to everybody who came from a somewhat fragmented start to the show this morning. Or is that just normal? Lovely turnout last night. And whilst we were getting ready, welcoming people, John, or should I call him João Ernesto? That sounds so Portuguese, doesn't it? So if you take your first name, we may have played this game before, but if you add a second name and maybe a third and fourth, that's truly Portuguese. So I am Carlitos. Filomena popped in last night as well. It was lovely to see Filomena. Do you know what? She's thinking of organising a tour to the Azores, the Azores. Now, actually, I don't think she was thinking of organising a tour, but when she mentioned it, I think maybe in passing, en passant, and just as a joke, possibly, an aside, one of our Portugal clubbers said, yeah, sign me up. And then there were general nods of appreciation. So I think there may well possibly be a Filomena Pascual organised trip to the Azores, the Azores, the Azores. So if you're interested in that, let her know, because I think she'll go ahead and organise it. If she just thought, there are 9 islands, aren't there? And it's a big trip, and it's not going to be cheap to do. But there are people who are well up for it, Filomena. So you may well have an Azores tour on your hands. And I know you're planning your own. Maybe there'll be a charter possible. Imagine that, a Gumpers charter flight. That's right. It was me, wasn't it, who said to you, I'd love to go to the Azores, and we were laughing about that. And then someone else in the Portugal club said, yes, count me in, sign me up. So a possible Azores. No, Jenny, you can't walk on the desk. Should we see what happens here? Can you see? Yeah, there's a nice tail there. Come and sit down, please. Seriously. Come on now. Funny enough, T-Duck sent me a meme of cats sitting on laptops before laptops were even invented. I think I might have to find that for you this morning. So back to the Portuguese names then. Oh, Jen. Oh, she's on the space bar. Now that's killed the. Oh my goodness. Really, you need to sit down. I'll give you a little bit of pastel de nata. Cats like custard, don't they? Unlike Jackie, as we found out yesterday. I have to talk to Owen about that when he turns up. People who don't like custard or bacalhau, or wine, I think that was also said. So take your first name, Carlitos. That's what I've been christened by Filomena, of course, Carlitos. And my second name, which was always very uncomfortable and difficult at school, my second name is Fell. Fell as in not fell over, although that's what people said. Of course they said that at school. Fell as in my grandmother's maiden name. Fell as in fell walking, hills in Yorkshire, that sort of thing. So hill in Portuguese, colina. So Carlitos Colina is a pretty cool name, I think. What is yours? And if you need help with that, do let me know, or do let us know. Erica, Joe Mac, hey, Carl, we've got another Milkshake Friday coming up. That's tell us more, please, Joe. Do feel free to put more information about your musical extravaganza. It's not just a gig. That could be the strapline, I think. It's not just a gig. So the Milkshake Friday coming up in, I think it's in Obidos, isn't it, Joe? So let us know more details, and we'll give that a plug this morning. Absolutely. Deagle, is there how can we make a Portuguese name out of that? I think João de Norte, João Ernesto is my Portuguese nom de plume. Can you help with this? So Jose Mac, we need to make that sound more Portuguese as well. Erica K, that's not sounding very Portuguese at all at the moment. Briandis, don't have a Portuguese equivalent. We're not doing very well so far. Ian, is there a Portuguese equivalent for Ian? Don't worry, we'll make Portuguese people of you yet, though. That's what this process is all about. Deagle was in at 6:44. I was slumbering deeply at that time, I can tell you. A few interruptions from the youngest last night. Bless him. He had a mosquito bite, which he scratched in his sort of half-awake state, causing to him something that looked like a bloodbath in the bed. So he was a little bit upset at some ungodly hour this morning. Jenny, come on sit down now, because you're being a pain and you're in danger of crashing the show. You can't stand on the keyboard. This is not going to work. Seriously. Help, matron. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers from a dry 8-degree Belfast. The start of May looking decent weather and should easily hit 12 degrees and no rain. Okay, she's on my lap now. That's better. But she won't settle. Now, come on. Calm yourself now. Calma. Tranquilo. Mio gato. 8 degrees then. No rain. Not a holiday in Northern Ireland. Is that right? but it should be 1st of May, always May Day rallies. Remember, 93% of us are working class. We work for someone or a company. So don't be middle class. We're all working class. Stop it. Stop being middle class. Anyone who's being middle class this morning, just pack it in. And I heard a definition on this auspicious day for the workers yesterday. I think it was George Galloway saying this, that if you lose this month's pay, you're working class. If you lose this month's pay and it affects you, if not getting paid this month affects you, that's a pretty good definition of working class. I know I'm in that category. So spare a thought for the workers today. And when I said last night, actually, that it's the irony of Workers' Day when actually people aren't working today. Philomena said, actually, there are a lot of workers working today, and so shout out to all the workers who are actually working today. Mindful moment. You're going to have to help me out here with some external production because this cat is determined to sit on the desk here, and buttons I'm sure are going to be pushed. If not, actually, then my buttons are going to be pushed this morning with this annoying beast here. A mindful moment. When we allow ourselves to embrace the moment, we allow ourselves to live, said Lisa Bien. French, possibly. When we allow ourselves to embrace the moment, we allow ourselves to live. That's from James, who is, did you know there's a redwood tree in Bassaco, Portugal, this week only? Bom dia, campos. Feliz Natal a todos. Como vão as coisas? And his mindful dad joke this morning, as well as Lisa Bien's mindful moment. When we allow ourselves to embrace the moment, we allow ourselves to live. Isn't that lovely? A mindful dad joke. It wouldn't have been right if Ford had invented the airplane. Why is that then? It wouldn't have been right. Oh, I see. It wouldn't have been one of the Wright brothers. Maybe there's a part to that I'm missing. Definitely not firing on all cylinders. Astrid joining us in a few moments from Cascais, I suspect. We always talk about the weather, don't we? And I imagine it's probably similar to San Martino de Porto Bay this morning, a little bit cloudy and rainy overnight. God Squad tip of the day we'll come back to. Thank you, Coach Turner. Let's play your video, your latest video, while I have a sip of tea, and then we'll welcome Astrid straight after this. Thank you very much for this one. Your latest in the Portugal road trip in the lovely blue Porsche, which we filmed, of course, last week. That was only just 6 days ago. It's incredible how time is flying at the moment. Here's your latest. Anyway, thank you so much for this and the others that have come our way that we will immortalize on our YouTube channel. And then straight up to Astrid after this. Beautiful, Alcazar. Very good indeed. Thank you for those. Keep them coming, Coach Turner. Yes, to keep the marauding hordes out. Didn't manage to keep the British tourists out, did it there? Thank you very much, Coach Turner. Over now to Astrid of Expats Portugal. Hola, bon dia. Astrid, have you got a cat on your screen as well? What is it with the cats this morning?
Yes, there's a tail here. He likes
I've had one of those.
likes to sit in front of the camera when you're on it.
Yeah, exactly what's happened to me this morning. I've had to boot the cat out of the studio. It's becoming too dangerous here. How are you this morning?
I'm good. A bit sneezy. There seems to be a lot of allergens in the air at the moment. Everyone seems to be a bit sneezy without allergies. So, including me.
And did it rain overnight in Cascais? It's been very heavy rain in the last 24 hours here in San Martin.
Not that I'm aware of. I can't see anything out the window, and I sleep so heavily, so it probably.
Oh, good for you! But another beautiful day in Cascais by the sound of it.
But cold. Only 17 today.
Only 17. Some people will be glad of that, but for us Portuguese, 17.
It's cold. It's almost needing the heater out.
Well, Mrs. M was in the studio here this morning early, and it's a bit like having a warm toilet seat. Sorry to be indelicate in that way, but and she has the fire on the radiator on in the studio, so it's baking hot in here this morning. I prefer it a bit cooler and crisper myself, but yeah, the temperature's dropped. I'm sure that won't last too long. Fingers crossed for
next week's meant to be back up to 27.
Woo! Excellent. All right, great stuff. So what's going on over at Expats Portugal? We've got the meetup happening.
Yes, on Saturday.
Tomorrow, of course. So what's the schedule for tomorrow?
Tomorrow, well, it's from 4 to 7 in the afternoon in tomorrow. You can register for it on the website. You do need to send us an email to confirm that you're coming, because we are catering some food and we need to know numbers, but we probably need to know by end of play tomorrow to be able to confirm the numbers with the venue. So if you do want to come along, please jump onto the website and go in. You need to join as a member, even if you're a free community member, just so we have your details, and then you can come along and meet us. So it should be fun. And then Jerry has extended the invitation out to those who would like to join us for dinner at an Indian restaurant that's close by too. So we've got quite a big group of us going out for a meal afterwards too. So it should be fun.
Wow, eating all the way. Fantastic. Okay, and in the wonderful...
Lots of food. So, but before that, Carl, on Thursday night, we have our webinar with Philomena, talking about language and culture, but focusing on restaurants and eating out and whether you should tip or you shouldn't tip, all that.
Yes,
there you go, on the screen.
Yeah, and we'll find out directly from Philomena, the Tia Philomena. Oh, she doesn't like me calling her Tia Philomena. I must stop that. Dining out, cafe culture, and tipping. Whether to tip or not. There's some bacalhau going on the right of that screen, and some pastel de natas, which are a little bit controversial at the moment because someone said they didn't like them, didn't like custody things here on the show yesterday. But it won't be all natas or bacalhau nata tomorrow evening. It's more general, isn't it? All about the whole the culture, and a bit of lingo as well, right?
Language as well, yes. So learning a few words that you'll need to get by in the cafe or a restaurant. So a bit of a Portuguese lesson too with Philomena. So what she's excellent at. So
always great fun. This is the second in the series, isn't it? Because the introductory.
Yes. So the last one we did was very well received and everybody enjoyed it. It was something a bit different for us here at Expats Portugal. But everyone put their hand up and said, please do more of these. It's so much fun. And so it's our second in the series coming up on Thursday.
Wonderful. And the social that would have happened this Saturday night is also postponed, isn't it, till the week after?
Yes, because Hank and Connie will be coming to our meetup in tomorrow and probably joining us for dinner. So they won't be able to do the social until the 11th of May.
So if you want to meet the legendary Hank and Connie, or Conk and Honey, as I refer to them, your chance to do that on Saturday evening. Astrid, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Have a super lovely day in Cascais, and let's say fingers crossed for some warmer weather next week. Unless there's anything else you want to share with us before you go.
Just the Dream Team's back this week. We didn't have it last week because of the holiday. Yes. And so everyone's back in force on Thursday night again. So if you've got any questions about moving to or living in Portugal that you want answered, it's the ideal place to pop along and get those answered.
I missed that last Thursday. It was good that actually there wasn't one, because I had a celebratory drink with towards the end of the webinar, so I wouldn't have been in a brilliant state for doing the drink. The Dream Team is back,
Yes.
I've started grilling sardines. I don't know if you remember how Gilda criticised my sardine cooking. It was quite an awkward moment. But I will maybe offer the picture of sardines to her to see if she thinks I've come on at all.
That looks amazing.
Doesn't look too bad. The first ones of this year, actually, and they were delicious. Bit of fresh
Season's
bread.
coming back.
Isn't it just? So, yeah,
Yeah.
it was Continental had a bit of a deal on. I couldn't resist it. A bit of crusty bread, butter, and some sardines, some freshly grilled sardine on there. That was delicious with some vigne verde. Absolutely wonderful.
I'm impressed.
I was too. It was really nice. First time this year. It was fantastic. Astrid, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow evening. Okay, all right. Have a great day.
Bye.
Cheers. All right. And Owen will be joining us in just a moment. We're keeping that theme going. So, yeah, don't forget, tomorrow night we've got the Portuguese language and culture with Philomena. It's about dining out, cafe culture and tipping. And you can book for that with the link that's on the screen now. And you can sign up for the package of discounts, the membership package of there are a couple of levels over there to sign up. And the free level, of course, you can sign up for free over at Expats Portugal too, and get access to a community of over 15,000 people. It's one of the longest standing expat networks here in Portugal, and we'll be having some great fun tomorrow night with Philomena, of course, talking about cafe culture and grasping the nettle of the whether to tip or not debate. I wonder what Owen thinks about that. He might have something to say about tipping or not tipping here in Portugal when you're eating out in this wonderful country. Give me a like button. Give me like button some love. You got to be careful saying things like that, Jackie. Give my like button some love. Honestly, what do you like? You uncustody queen, you. Carl, you served us our first ever grilled sardines a year ago. They were absolutely delicious. I remember now. I would have forgotten if you had not reminded me there. But yes, any excuse when guests are over to do a bit of grilling of the sardinhas. So I'm glad they are a memory for you here in Portugal. How lovely to be part of a memory made with you there, Bob. And where have you been? When are you coming back? Right, I think we've got a few comments that we've missed out on here, as well as some good news that I'm bringing to the screen. You might like this, and we've got some ask anything, say anything about Portugal comments as well. We're going to come back to James's mindful memery on screen, and here's some good news for you. A study found that the most productive age in human life, in the US anyway, and I imagine this does scale around the world, is 60 to 70 years old. I'm a mere youngster at the moment, and not for much longer. The second is from 70 to 80. And the third most productive age, I think this is where we are now, Owen, is between 50 and 60. The average age of Nobel Prize winners is 62. He's busy behind the scenes. He's doing some stuff behind the scenes. We'll get to see that in a minute. The average age of Nobel Prize winners is 62. Of CEOs of prominent companies is 63. Of pastors of the 100 largest churches in the US is 71. Of the popes, it's 76. And that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine on May the 8th, 1986. So maybe they're even older now. Well, they are literally older now, but I mean, I wonder if the numbers have gone up since then. And of course, not to mention presidents, probably best not to mention presidents. You can be 100 years old and be the president of the United States, of course. A book review also published in a New England Journal of Medicine found at age 60, you reach the top of your potential, and this continues into your 80s. Therefore, if you are 60 to 70 or 70 to 80, you may have the best and second best opportunity in your life to produce meaningful accomplishments that can leave a lasting positive legacy. How about that? It's like the historical equivalent of giving it 5 minutes, isn't it? I'm leaving you a lasting positive legacy. Watch out. And the visual that goes with that, if I take that comment off the screen there, is, of course, the young Jedi and the elder Jedi. An elder Jedi in the making on the left, and Obi-Wan on the right there. How old does anyone know? I guess Star Wars fans would know how old Obi-Wan was. Was he something like 500, but appeared to be about 70 on the screen now? I'm not sure about that. I wonder, Star Wars fans, I wonder if you can solve that mystery. Bon dia, Gumpers. Late arrival today. Don't worry, Jackie. All is well. No, calma, tranquilo. It's a holiday day here in Portugal, so we're taking it easy and we're waiting for the arrival of Owen in just a moment. And then James from the Andsome Brewery will be joining us a little bit later on because it's Craft Beer Corner Day today. And he may have more to tell us about the Lourinhã Craft Beer Festival, the first of its kind. He mentioned that last time he was here. And I dare say, has this happened yet? Is this happening this weekend? Look at this. This weekend, it's the Aveiro Craft Beer Festival. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later on as well. I know one person will be going to that. That'll be Andy Klein, I suspect, who'll be along there with his camera, no doubt as well. Let's go back to James's memery on screen. What you're looking for is already inside you, as pictured here, the man looking inside an empty fridge. Gumper dust on that. It'd be nice if that was a sound effect each time you opened your fridge. And finally, from James this morning, sometimes I feel like running away. Back to Star Wars again. And a carefully placed comment so that you can't see the punchline there. Then I remember how much I hate running. Very good. Sometimes I feel like running away. Then I remember how much I hate running. But why not just take a slow saunter away from the things that you can't face up to? Thank you very much, James, for those. More tomorrow. And today it's, of course, Ask Anything, Say Anything about Portugal. I've got a couple of notices to share. One, Vicky Roberts, thank you for supporting the show. You did so yesterday. Thank you. Thinking about Caminha to live when we finally get there in the fall. Been there? Any other Gumpers live there? Caminha, is that up your way, Owen? Caminha. It is. Okay, so I thought it might be. I don't know it terribly well. Owen might have something to say about that for you, Vicky, as a nice place to live. And another notice that's come up, I'll reread these because they take a couple of, wow, fantastic rainbow picture just in from John. This will be near the Caminha. Maybe it's a sign for you, Vicky. But we've had a message from Pam. I work as a tutor, not that Pam, a different one. I work as a tutor in the US and would like to work with English-speaking students in and near São Martinho de Porto, in person and online. I work with middle school, high school, and undergraduate students. I also have experience teaching standardized test prep and admissions advising for US private school and college admissions. I have years of experience and excellent references. This is the question. Can you recommend an online site where I can connect with expat parents seeking tutors? If you're looking for a tutor, I can connect you with Pam. And there's that question about the Caminha on there. Before Owen joins us, let's go back to a few more of your comments and a God Squad tip of the day this morning. Oh, and we've got some news about Steve as well. Steve Yeoman, excellent. God Squad tip of the day. Press ups. Press ups today, done properly. They're basically a plank with movement, a moving plank. So they not only work the arms, he's dropping and giving you 5 in the background here. Hold on a minute, just to keep going, Owen. Look at him go. Look at him go. Go on, son. We'll come back to Owen. Oh no, I mean, that was 10, maybe even 20 there. Done properly. They're basically, he's exhausted now. Basically a plank with movement. So they not only work the arms and shoulders, but the core as well. However, if you find them too tough, start by kneeling, or alternatively do them against a worktop or even a wall, right? And as you become stronger, find a lower surface or person to work with. At each stage, build up to 3 sets of 10 with a minute or so. Oh, yes, resting between. Don't be going all gung-ho. You'll be surprised at how quickly your strength improves. Excellent. Bom dia, Portugal, from João de Norte, who sent in a beautiful picture of a rainbow this morning. And I think we're going to have to come back to more of your comments with Owen. Just quickly showing you a beautiful... There's the wee pond, as we call it. It's looking very good, the wee pond. And a double rainbow over Ponte Lima. Is that a sign, possibly, for Vicky Roberts, who's thinking about living in Caminha? I asked the question on screen, and then we see a double rainbow in that part of the country. I wonder, we could take that as a sign, Vicky. I wonder if you're up and watching this morning, you'll probably see this on replay. Nice big round of applause. It's Craft Beer Corner. And first on Craft Beer Corner, it's Owen Lloyd Martin, the food alchemist.
Morning.
Good morning to you, Owen. What is that in front of you?
This is my cream puffs. It's going to be chocolate cream puffs. Shoe pastry just out of the oven. I've just drizzled on top with a bit of chocolate. They've been hollowed. I'm just waiting for the chocolate to cool before I can put this lovely cream custard filling.
Oh, stop it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in because you've been making eclairs, haven't you?
I have.
We've got the eclairs. It looks like they turned out pretty well. Is that right?
Oh, they did. They're very, very, very good show. I've been, well, with my neighbours just along the way that have the shop here. Yeah. They were my guinea pigs. Absolutely loved them. And it's actually, yesterday was one of the shopkeepers. It's the shopkeeper's daughter's birthday. Look at Portuguese style. And I said today I'll make these for her birthday, and obviously for me, Jonathan.
Oh, how absolutely wonderful. They look fantastic. Now, we've got a slightly cavernous effect on your audio. I don't know if it's the way your phone is placed, but it's a little bit echoey. I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that. Maybe
I'm not too sure. Because I'm not using my camera, because my microphone, I had to use the phone this morning.
Oh, I see. We're on the phone. Maybe if you can bring it a little bit nearer to you, that might work. But not too much of a stress. Don't worry too much. I didn't even ask you how you're doing. Tudo bem? Como estás? How have you been? What have you been up to? I know you've been to a wonderful equestrian fair up in there in Ponta Lima.
Yeah, that was great. A few days ago, really. Just beautiful turnout. It was a bit quieter than last year. If you remember last year, I did a little bit of a live stream for you with the exact same show. But there was a lot less people this time. But the horses, amazing, beautiful, absolutely. And I'm fine here in the Rainbow Valley. It's beautiful, absolutely. I mean, it's very light and drizzle out there. And you know what? I can take these next couple of days of break because I know what comes after them. It's the sunshine. I can tan. Thank goodness.
At last, eh? At last. All right, let's go through the comments that have come through. And there may be questions about Portuguese food and cookery. We can continue yesterday's theme as well. How many of these 9 have you had? There's the pastel de nata, the gingembre composto de chocolate, caldo verde, bacalhau, francesinha, cataplana. There was the polvo on there, sardinhas asadas, which I was already talking about this morning, and cozido a português. I think you probably get 9 out of 9, don't you, there, Owen, for that lot?
Yeah, near there. I'm near there. I can't see it. I mean, my glasses are good, but not that good. Hang on, I look over to my laptop, which is in the background.
Okay.
Caldo, yes. Ginger, yes. Bacalhau, francesinha, yes, small portion. Cataplana, maybe, definitely. All good. That's all. Yeah, I would say a good 7. A 7 there.
I think you've definitely talked about Cataplana, haven't you? And the copper. We've had a conversation about that before. Okay, thank you very much for that. How else is everyone faring out of 9 on that? It is, of course, the 1st of May, holiday today, the Dia dos Trabalhadores, and Nunu's popped in as well, saying this is the day where almost no one is working here in Portugal. We'll come back to his comment when I can find it in just a moment. And a few more comments, questions about food. Most welcome today because the food alchemist is here, busy baking for the neighborhood by the look of it this morning. So we got your greeting, João Dano or João Ernesto. Owen, have you made a Portuguese equivalent of your names? Martino works well, doesn't it?
Martino works well, but you know, how do you do the Owen bit? I'm not too sure. You know, I've been by a lot of Portuguese people. I've been called Owen.
Fantastic.
Owen, quite a few. So I don't know. Let's look at the Gumpers thing. Just give us a suggestion.
All right. There's an hola bon dia from a Chile says it's cold in Saya today. Good morning to you, buddy.
I'll see you soon, buddy.
And bon dia, everyone. Happy 1st of May from Miguel. Miguel, I don't know what your middle name is, so we can't help with that at the moment, Miguel Barton. Coach, I hope you get to the bakery. I hope when you get to the bakery, the person in front buys the last pastel de nata. That sounds like a Portuguese put down, doesn't it? I hope the person in front of you buys the last pastel de nata. I'm having 1 round of brown bread, peanut butter, coffee for breakfast. I found out last night chatting with Philomena that milk is a key part of the Portuguese breakfast. Some bread, maybe some cheese, a cheese sandwich, and a glass of milk. I didn't know that. Did you, Owen?
No, I didn't.
No, interesting. So yeah, I don't know if other people. I think it's quite an American thing to do as well. So there's a natural transition from the American breakfast. Well, certainly the glass of milk that goes with it to the Portuguese style. Hubby listening today. Reason craft beer. Okay, so Erica K. Can Mr. K, if we can refer to him as that, tell us about a few of his favorites, if you don't mind. Joe Mack, I think, may be partial to the odd craft beer as well, because a close association with Prohibition and those wonderful gigs up at Capaliera, where, yes, beer was involved. We've got another milkshake Friday coming up. Let us know more about that, if you will, Joe. Great evening out on this part of Portugal, in this part of Portugal on the Silver Coast here. Bon dia. For those who've been following husband Steve's broken femur, we learned yesterday that he won't need surgery. Excellent, well done. He'll have to stay calm for 6 to 8 weeks. Thanks for all the good wishes. We'll keep those going for Steve and his healing of his broken femur there. Maybe stroking a cat. I think that some people speak of the medical healing benefits of a purring cat on your lap. So maybe, Steve, you might like that. Yeah, João Ernesto, that's the one that works best so far. I quite like Carlitos Colina as well. Thumbs up on a Wednesday. Cheers, Deagle, for that. So your second name is Fell, as in off the back of a lorry. This is what I had to put up with at school. I thought I'd put that behind me, Peter, but no. He's a teacher as well. You'd think he'd know better, wouldn't you, about bullying?
Mm-hmm. That's detention for you, Peter. Detention.
All right. What's it like now, Pete? They say, don't they, that kids are a bit more snowflakey these days. What's it like in the teaching environment? I guess you just can't throw board rubbers at people anymore like you used to back in the day.
It's difficult now because they're doing everything off the computer. So what do they do? Launch the laptop across the room?
The mouse. You throw the mouse.
Yeah.
And that's when you want a corded mouse and not a wireless one when that's happening.
That's the one.
Yeah, I wonder if, Pete, all of Pete's favorite teaching aids, like the cane, the slipper, the table tennis bat, the board rubber, that you can't use any of those anymore. The dunce's hat, they're all gathering dust in a cupboard somewhere, Peter. What do you do now? Do you have to use like unconditional positive regard? Good morning, everyone from Nunu. Happy Pleasant Workers' Day. We know, don't we, that Nunu will be working today for sure. Good morning to you, mate. The day when almost no one works. Tell me, has my Icelandic name .is inspired the Portuguese name translation? I would say partly so, buddy. And there's a possible product extension there if you want to have a sister business to the Icelandic name business. How about the Portuguese name business? You just type in your name and it comes up with something, and then it even issues you the certificate, which is, I believe, how your system works as well. Very good. Here we go. Jaime now meia nom. So he's no middle name, but he's a Jaime. Jaime is good, isn't it? That's a nice translation, an easy one there. I think there is an Ian or an Owen Portuguese equivalent as well. It'll probably be quite rare, but I suspect there is, because it's Celtic, isn't it? So I imagine that Celtic vibes of Owen or Ian made it to Portugal in some way. Pedro Rolando Blanco. Now that's a good one. That's giving João Ernesto a run for his money there. Happy Workers' Day to you, Nunu. And as I have seen the pictures, I know. It's also Nude Gardening Day. Pictures, please, on 913-590-30.
Do you remember 2 years ago, my photograph I sent in? That won't be happening again. The amount of food parcels I got sent through the post is unbelievable.
People saying stuff like, you need a good chicken dinner, lad.
Yeah.
So, yes, Nude Gardening Day. I forgot all about that. People have been telling me that, like, watch out, it's on its way. It's going to be happening soon. And I forgot all about it. So it's not too late. We're here for another 50 minutes or so. Who knows?
It's not quite the weather here, though, Carl. It's a bit drizzly.
You get a free shower. You get a free shower. If you're out gardening, you get a free shower thrown in Portugal this morning. So come on. I think Pete might offer us something we'll never forget. Possibly 913. Let's see.
I'm blind.
913-590-30. Be careful. Oh yeah. Be careful, given that it's Naked Gardening Day today, International Naked Gardening Day, not just a Portuguese thing. Be careful with the strimmer, trimmer, and chainsaw, everyone. Oh, yeah. As well as the nettles. I mean, it's not the ideal environment to be naked, is it?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Cooking is a little bit safer, but not entirely free of possible danger.
Careful of the hot oil.
Hot oil, bit of a barbecue singe going on as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, and cooking with chilies.
That sausage looks a bit overdone to me.
just started it.
Bom dia all. Happy May Day. Off to see. Oh gosh. Off to
Sorry,
see
Paul.
three properties this morning. At least it's sunny in central Portugal. Paul Reese, good morning to you. Is it naked house viewing day as well? That'll give him a shot. Won't it? I've got. Oh, so brilliant. Turning up. Just saying, really, Paul, try this today because I think it will give you some power in the bargaining position, so to speak. If you turn up naked, get out the car with a completely straight face. It's got to be done with a straight face with no hint of shyness whatsoever. And just bowl up to the estate agent and say, I'm here for the viewing. Oh, yes. Did you not know it's naked house viewing day today? It's international, you know. It's started by realtors. Advantageous and powerful position when it comes to negotiating. Right. No. I love the bridging holidays. Yeah. This is a Portuguese tradition. It's Ask Anything about Portugal. This is telling you some interesting cultural information. If there is a holiday on Wednesday, you may as well take the Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday off as well. Portuguese thinking makes so much sense. Yeah. So don't worry if the holiday's on a Wednesday, you can create the bridging scenario that Pete talks about. It's a no-brainer if it's Monday or Friday, of course, and Tuesdays and Thursdays work very well too. Bon dia todos from Bob. Good morning to you, Bob, and best wishes from Bob to Steve and the broken femur, but glad to hear rest versus surgery is the option. Wishing him a speedy and complete recovery.
All the best, Steve.
So we're calling you James now, because he's got no middle name, but we're going to go with that anyway. James now, very good, John. Or you could be Now e o Tiago as well. James now e o Tiago. Thanks. He'll really work on recovering as the bicycle garage is in the living room. He's sitting here looking at his bike. That's what happens when you're a keen cyclist. The living room becomes the bike workshop. I do like this idea of giving the like button some love. And you can hear the palpable relief of Jackie having her first cuppa of the day. Next to me, a GMP live stream. The sun is shining in the UK. I'm nearly at the point of perfection. All I need now is a bar of chocolate. Oh, maybe one of those buns. Now, there's no custard in there. Is there cream in there? But not custard.
It's a custard and cream mix that she actually go in.
I don't know if you saw this. She doesn't like custard. Can you believe that?
It's just cream, Jackie. It's just cream.
It's just cream, Jackie. There you go. Nicely done. I just reached my best years. All prior were a mere prelude. Now, that's a very interesting, going back to this. I don't know what you made of that, Owen, that we're youngsters in terms of our productivity. The study here found that the most productive age in human life in the US is between 60 and 70 years old. So we've got that to look forward to. Not too far away, as to be said.
Not too far. No, it's not, is it?
Isn't that great? The elder, and the how these are the best years potentially in productivity, and the mentorship and guidance you can give to the youngers. And I'm sure you're going to have something to say about Caminha. That's coming up as well, Owen. We're happy to be home in Carolina. Ponte Lima again. 7 out of 8 weeks of travel was a lot, since much of it wasn't really relaxing. Very glad for you, Bob. You're back in this blessed part of the country that we're going to be talking about in just a moment. Hide under the bed, run away, or at best walk away there. Yeah, that's if you don't like running. You can walk. Well done, Owen. I think that's on the baking there. And Caminha is near us up here, says Joel Denor. We have friends there and visit there frequently, just a stone's throw from Aguarda in Spain. So what do you make? This is Vicky asking about Caminha, coming from, I think, the Washington state of the United States. What do you think of Caminha? Would you recommend it, Owen?
Absolutely. In particular, if you're a live music lover, because they hold some great concerts, festivals in the Caminha area. I went to one about over a year ago, which was great. They had a local band on. I believe this Portuguese guy won the version of what do they call it?
Voice.
The Voice, or whatever it is, the Simon Cowell thing. He won that, and do you know, it was great. They were up on stage. The funniest thing was that they were up on stage singing "Highway to Hell," and I kid you not, there were two nuns that were dancing and loved it.
I remember you remarking upon that. Did you get a photo?
I didn't, but somebody did. I can't remember who it was.
The two nuns dancing to Highway to Hell. That's the sort of fun then that you can have.
They were rocking away. They absolutely loved it. I was shocked, of course.
Of course, absolutely. A very interesting place where the
It's a beautiful area. Some nice restaurants, nice places to eat, nice places to walk.
Right.
Really, really enjoy it. It's beautiful.
And
as is everywhere in Portugal.
Absolutely right. And dancing nuns, the sacred and profane, close together, and called Caminha presumably because it is on the great walking path. Is that right?
I would expect so. I don't know. Maybe Jardinot can confirm that.
Okay.
And I'm sure he may know.
All right. Thank you very much for that, for the time being on the Caminha. Any other questions about Portugal? Anything you want to say about Portugal? It's Wednesday. Let's do that. Owen, between Coach going for pastels now and you cooking, I'm getting more hungry as I watch. I missed that about the Coach going for pastel de natas, but you enjoy those this morning. Oh, here we go. Happy May Day, says the Coach. Clear blue sky here in Praia de Luz after mixed weather yesterday. So a walk to Lagos is on the cards. Lagos. After coffee and a pastel de nata, of course. There are other words that you are really not sure if you ever say.
We cannot escape
ever again for the rest of your life, and that's one of them for me. Bom dia, pessoas adoráveis. That's lovely. The adorable people of the Good Morning Portugal show. Morning to you, Squire, as well. And
morning, Squire.
Morning all from the sunny Algarve, meeting Ian, the Coach, tomorrow. How lovely. Only exercise we will be doing is the right arm lifting fluids. Very good. Excellent. Craft beer corner. Paul, what's your favourite? He's a Yorkshireman, of course. What's the best? What's the best pint of bitter to come out of God's own county, do you think?
You can't say Marston's.
Marston's, okay.
You can't really say Timmy Taylor's because that's more the Lancashire side.
Right.
I'm not sure. Theakston's. I would say Theakston's is a Yorkshire brew.
And there's one named after him, Old Peculiar, as well, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Yes,
Old Peculiar. Good one.
Peculiar.
I remember when that was first out, actually, in some pubs in Yorkshire, you were only allowed 2.5 pints, nothing more.
Of that particular ale?
Of Old Peculiar, because I think back then, it was something like 6.2, which at the time was really, really strong.
I would have thought Yorkshiremen would have taken very badly to being told what to do in that way.
Well, I do know some people that used to walk out and walk back in again after 15 minutes.
Yes, of course.
2.5.
Or send a child in to get their next beers. a reversal of the off-license situation where youths used to send people in for cider. We've had 8 or 9 of those. I don't think we've had the last cozida one. That is advanced Jedi Portuguese food, the cozida de Portuguesa, for sure. Well done, Jordan, though. 8 out of 9 on our bingo card of Portuguese foods there. Very good. Excellent stuff. Good score for you there. Let's keep those scores coming. And my name is Sarah Elizabeth, which translates as Sarah Elizabeth. Elizabeth. Bon dia, Squire. Wishing you lots of luck to get over your situation from both of us. Well, whatever that situation is,
me too. Squire. Me too, Squire of the Shires. Sending you my love and support.
Well, I'll jump on that as well and send you love and support. Not quite enough dairy in the Portuguese diet. Add milk at breakfast. Yes, a little bit difficult for the lactose intolerant, for sure. Bon dia, Malta. Aveiro Beer Fest this weekend. WhatsApp sent. Excellent. Thank you very much for that. I did show the poster, and we've got a bigger listing from the Gumper map by Randy. That's fantastic. And we have got our first naked gardening picture in as well. Do you want to see it, Owen?
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to answer that question, isn't it? Because
okay.
All right, go on then. It's from Michael. I don't know if that's a clue or not.
Yeah. Oh, no. Go on. I'm dreading this, but go on.
Oh, that was it. Somebody's stroking the foliage. That's I've tried to have a look on the old interweb for a Portuguese version of my name, and all I can see is live cooking demo on Good Morning Portugal, and then the countless amounts of videos that I've appeared on GMP. So I'm just going to put it into translate and see what it comes up. It's a good idea for Baddy. The Portuguese name generator would
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it's a good one. Does this count as Naked Gardening Day? It's a potato.
You look slightly baked there, actually.
Poor lad, eh? I mean, we've all felt like this at times. Maybe after 10 pints of Old Peculiar, you end up looking like the beer's name itself. But that's the closest. That those two submissions are the closest we've got to Naked Gardening Day so far. The potato from the allotment there, not looking in tip-top condition. Thank you very much, Michael, so far. 913-590-303. That'd be great. Owen, please bring these to me. Do you do a delivery service?
Sarah made a comment on the Facebook of one of my creations, and I did say to her the next time I go down to see her, that is, I will make them. So we shall see, Sarah. Perhaps nearer the end of May.
That means popping in to see us as well, and we'll give you a baker's holiday. I'll tell you what, mate. We'll give you a baker's holiday because we'll take you up to Atelier de Dos as well.
Oh yes.
Do you know that? Do you know that brand?
I went past it the other day when I was up with T-Duck, when I was in Caldas.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. The best Bolosh de Berlin in the country, I would say.
Ooh,
and they supply a lot of other people. I was in Leroy Merlin the other day in Caldas, and they're actually, the little counter in Leroy, there's a little coffee shop.
Oh, yeah.
Atelier de Dos. That's how cool this country is. The finest cake makers in the country supply the equivalent of Wix or Home Depot for their cafe.
Nice.
So see their cakes in there. So Sarah, yes, you and me, we're going to be the recipients of some of Owen's baking when he comes to this part of the country. I think is what he said anyway. Or as said around here, Owen. Our students are just lovely, so no need for board rubbers. They are really supportive of each other. Things have changed, and yes, when you're on a Zoom call, I can kick them out much more easily. I do miss bringing their parents in to sit with them for a day's lesson. They always enjoyed that one. Wow, the pressure's on in it if your parents come to school for the day. I mean, talk about, you could take your kids to work day, but taking your parents to school day. Ooh, longest day ever. Where is this name generator? We are the name generator, aren't we?
We are.
You're looking at it, Paddy. Okay. In Belfast, teachers would pull you up by the locks of your hair. Then, when stretched, they quickly slap the back of your head. Tough love. My goodness, my children don't believe a teacher hit and got away with it in the 70s and 80s. Well, it never did us any harm, did it? Apart from all the therapy, trauma responses, and the classic dropping to the floor in the supermarket in Portugal in a fetal position. But apart from that, it did us no harm whatsoever. João Ernesto is simply my given name and middle name in Portuguese form. No, I totally get that. João Denot, but it just works so well. We've got Jaime from Andsome Beer joining us soon as well. He's not naked, by the way. It is Naked Gardening Day. I don't know if it's clearly not Naked Brewing Day today. Naked House Shopping. How about Naked House Showing as well? That would certainly uptick the amount of viewings, wouldn't it? You don't really want to see this house, do you? No.
Vitor, Maria, just ignore this section, please.
James, my English literally middle name has no Portuguese equivalent. You say that. I think we need some more researchers on this, don't we? Right, redwood trees. You would be a great deal more selective about who your estate agent was. So nothing to do with redwood trees. You just confused me with his name again. You would be a great deal more selective about who your estate agent was. Maybe not a bad thing, given how often realtors tend to hide their small issues. This is catching on. Nothing to hide here. Custard and cream together. Jackie, not impressed. I definitely want chocolate now. She's quadrupled down. She doubled down, tripled down this morning. They were my best working years. This is between 60 and 70 possibly, but you're not even 60 yet, Ocean John. I don't know. Is that a past life you're talking about? There's shops in Portugal. It looks a bit like my name, Deagle. It's Desigual, a clothes shop. Maybe that's my Portuguese name. Okay, let's go with that. We'll call you Desigual. What about your middle name, though? A great catch up on Lagos, Carl. Muito bem. Don't tell me that Desi Girl are in Portugal. Oh, she's a bit partial to that brand by the sound of it. That whole stretch from Caminha to Villanova to Cervera. That's where Antonio Barbosa is, of course. To Valencia is a lovely drive and full of many attractive places to set up your abode. So we're getting thumbs ups, I think, there, Owen, aren't we, for Vicky?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. They'll love it. I mean, if they've already visited and have a look around, you know, I think it's like anywhere, in my opinion, up here is very, very magical and very, very special. The people, the food, everything.
Yep, wonderful. So a good choice, and a slightly cooler environment maybe is what Vicky's looking for weather-wise. Cool in every sense of the word, but certainly with the weather there. But hot days nonetheless at times, of course. Sarah Isabel is your name. Sarah Elizabeth, of course. Isabel, Elizabeth. Even Queen Elizabeth was called Rainha Isabel. There you go. And King Carlos, of course, is what Charles is called. When I see him on the telly over here. Portuguese have a fascination with our royal family. I say our royal family, Owen. You remember them, don't you? They
Who? What? Sorry, I must take myself away from this conversation, Carl.
All right. Carl, 7 to 9. What's going on? Oh, okay, 7 out of 9. No sour cherries. Oh, that's a treat to look forward to in a chocolate cup. And octopus, but tried the rest on the menu. Well done, Desigual. Meu nome, Squire of the Shires is Simão Paulo. Very good. People getting into the spirit of this. Suze is here from Nova Scotia. 5 in the morning. Good morning, Gumpers from Annapolis Valley, Nova Scotia. Awake at 5 in the morning and recovering from a head cold. Well, lots of love to you, Suze. Amazing.
Get well soon.
Yeah, get well soon. As melhoras, querida. Carl, can you ask our Portuguese friends, is there a direct translation for the word Lusitano? Translators just say Portuguese. What do you think? So we're talking about the horses, aren't we? The Lusitano horses. Did you overhear?
I'm sure it is.
Portuguese horse doesn't sound as magnificent, does it?
It doesn't, does it? No.
Right,
I don't know about that, actually.
Okay. Bairandi is English, Andre. It sounds like that's what he's called by his mates in Portugal. English, Andre, as well as Bairandi. And I'm a good juggler. That's how do you kill a circus? Go for the juggler. You're welcome. And don't try any cherries until you get to Fundão. We have the best cherries in the world.
I believe so.
I'm reminded that's what me and Bobby O'Reilly have been invited up there to pick cherries, which does sound like a slow motion sequence from a romantic movie, doesn't it? The pair of us picking cherries together in a cherry orchard. Soft music, yes, popping a cherry into each other's mouth. I don't know. The Englishman and the Irishman picking cherries in a Fundão orchard. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I'd rather naked garden. Naked
cherry picking.
That's not cherry.
I was gonna follow up with something then, but I stopped there.
What's the loudest noise in the cherry orchard?
Picking the wrong ones.
Okay. Good morning. I'm a bit late. And still we're waiting. Ooh, matron. Yes, nice one. And, we're still waiting for naked gardening pictures. Probably still will be waiting at 10 o'clock this morning for naked gardening pictures on 913-590-303. Coming up to 9:30, Craft Beer Corner today. Let's give a nice big round of applause. It's James from the Andsome Brewery in Lourinhã. Morning, mate.
Morning. How are you guys?
Very well.
Very well, thank you.
Bit giggly. Owen's being a bit smutty and naughty this morning. But we're okay apart from that.
What's with the naked gardening?
It's a global institution, apparently. Many speak of it. Very few do it, of course, because it can be quite painful, if nothing else. And you can get a sunburn, can't you? If the weather's as it should be in Portugal, it's probably quite dangerous, a bit of naked sunbathing. So slather on the sun cream. And the problem with that, of course, once you start slathering on sun cream, you probably never get out in the garden anyway.
A bit cold this morning for naked gardening, mate. I think I'd be a bit embarrassed.
Okay. And it's definitely not naked brewing day, as we can see there. How are you?
Dangerous.
I'm probably against health and safety laws as well, to be fair. How's it going? How's it going at the Andsome Brewery?
It's very good, mate. Very busy, thank you. Very busy indeed at the moment, which is great. Which is great news. Just busy, making lots of custom beers, getting ready for beer festivals. Yes, there's a lot going on.
It's a great time of year.
It is. Because we are getting close to, it's like in physics, the moment of singularity. I think that's a physics thing anyway. But the moment of there being a craft beer festival every weekend in Portugal. We're not far off that, are we?
No, it's coming. The summer is coming, and along with the Festa time of year, also comes the craft beer festival time of year. So yeah, we're busy preparing here, brewing like crazy.
What have you got on the go, if you don't mind us asking? And
Today in the background, I've got bubbling away an oatmeal stout, a mid-range 5.5 oatmeal stout, just nice, balanced, nothing too crazy alcohol-wise. Want to hit that sweet spot, very smooth, very chocolatey, but yeah, drinkable and sessionable, hopefully at 5.5.
Sessionable, that's an interesting description. That this is a beer that you can keep drinking, is it? Is that the idea?
That's it, yeah. That seems to be the sweet spot. Sessionable to us English is more kind of around late 3s in percentage, but I don't know whether it's English that are abroad or more the Portuguese influence, but the sweet spot here seems to be higher, considerably higher. Yeah, early 5s, mid 5s, that seems to be the most popular strength. So we don't do a stout that size. We do a session one about 4.1 at the moment, and then the next one's 8%. So I figured I'd make one a nice, thick, creamy, chocolatey one about 5.5. But this is the first version, so we'll see how that goes today.
Oh, lovely. Anything else bubbling up, literally, in the back there?
There's so many things aging at the moment. We've got a green apple sour, like a Brett sour with a wild yeast that's been aging in the back in the cellar for about 6 months now. And every now and again, I open a bottle just to see how it tastes. And I've been opening a lot of bottles, and there's not many left. I'll be honest.
Quality control.
I mean,
that's right. Yeah.
I mean, this is a serious matter, isn't it? Because you've got to taste it. How often does that occur?
Yeah, and it's changing. This one, the real problem, this one's been aging so much. It's changing so much. Every time we open a bottle, every 3 weeks or so, I open a bottle, and it's changed again. It's changing. It's fantastic beer, I think, at the moment. It tastes more like halfway between a cider and a beer. I don't know if you like a wild yeast beer. Is very it's very changeable in the fruit, the complex fruit flavors that go on with it. So at the moment it's tasting, but this is where we went anyway. We wanted to go like a sour Granny Smith. When you bite into the skin of a Granny Smith, you get that sour. That's what we really wanted, and that's what it is at the moment. But I don't know what's going to happen next. So we're going to give it another month and just check that it's stable. Because that's what I'm looking for when I open a bottle, is that it's the same as it was before, and then I go, okay, the flavors have stopped now. This is what it's going to taste like, and then so when we sell it, everybody gets that taste. But at the moment, it's been radically changing from one tasting session to the next. So she's still relegated to the cellar, and we're waiting for it to stabilize out, that one.
How fantastic! Okay, so an oatmeal stout, a sharp apple-based beer bordering on a cider. And I want to ask you about wild yeast before we go back to what else is brewing in the Andsome cellar. Wild yeast, is that when you let nature take its course then, and a yeast from the atmosphere, or have you trapped a wild yeast and brought it into?
It is traditionally, in Belgium, they used to have open vats, and they used to leave the windows open, and they'd let the wild yeast, the beer be infected by a wild yeast. They're looking for a Brett, really. A Brett yeast is the one that they want. But these days we can purchase wild yeast. So we have more of a controlled idea, because that's a very old, we don't have any windows in our cellar. I don't know what we get here. Belgium's very different to Portugal. I'm not sure what wild yeast we'd have here.
That's fascinating, isn't it? Yeah. So, and this will be an issue for other types of bakers as well. The people making foods, kombucha brewers, bakers. These are the things in the atmosphere that are entirely different. Yeah, Mrs. M struggled. She was a pretty good kombucha maker in the UK, but it's a different air chemistry here, isn't it? It's a moldier air at times of the year in Portugal, of course. This is an issue when it comes to housing. Is that something you've had to get used to? Is what the airborne stuff and how you protect against that, or even encourage it?
Not so much us, no. Not so much here where we are. This building is particular in the brewery. It's not. We're lucky that it's not damp at all. It is a very old building, but it was revamped sometime in the 2000s, the early 2000s, and it's actually been really well done. So we don't have any damp in here whatsoever. Thank goodness. It wasn't something. It was just a purely by chance thing. So we don't have that issue here. But yeah, I do. We are limited to different times of year where it's better. We found out to make different sorts of beer. Yeah, temperatures, humidity, that sort of thing. It can all play a factor.
Lots of variables. Okay, so I think we've lost Owen for a moment. I'm sure he'll be back. So oatmeal stout, the apple-based beer with the wild yeast.
You know what, Carl? I might call it oatmeal stout. That's very good. I like that. Thank you.
Stout. Yeah, well,
I like that.
Lends itself to a nice graphic, doesn't it?
It does. I'm thinking about it now. Fantastic.
Stout. Other names, it might include the Naked Gardener as well for next May 1st, if you want to rise to that occasion, as it were. Thank you, Coach. So what else have you got in the brewery, in the cellar?
At the moment, we're starting to think about Christmas beers already, because we normally try and do a Christmas special, but normally that would be like a winter high gravity warmer. Something special that we've had aged for at least 6 months. So I'm starting to think about that. I'm wondering about, my wife and I were talking about it last night, about where to go with it, because we've done lots of different strong beers and aged beers, but the combination, we can kind of switch around. And I'd like to do an Old English ale that's been aged in Aguardent de Lourinhã, and chuck that in a bottle, a nice bottle, and then age that for at least 6 months, and then put it on sale in December. So we're thinking about that at the moment. That's probably the next thing to do.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that little preview of what's coming out of the cellar there. We also spoke last time of your festival, actually in Lourinhã, the first of its kind. Any news on that?
Yeah, I can tell you that's definitely going ahead now. The dates are set. It's all 100% going ahead. I haven't got a definite on the brewers that are attending. I can tell you that we're attending. I can tell you that the other local brewery, Duna, they are attending. I believe Cinque Mayo or Hopsin are now attending as well. And I've Mean Sardine are trying. They're negotiating at the moment, I think. So it'll be I imagine it'll be a similar lineup to those that went to Caldash. I imagine it will be a similar kind of lineup to there, hopefully. I'm not sure how many spots there are, but those dates are the 14th, 15th, and 16th of June. And that's definitely confirmed now in Fontalima in Lourinhã, which is a lovely open sort of garden space up high up on a hill overlooking the sea. It's a beautiful, beautiful location. And they have a Vimeiro Water Festival every year up there. So it's part of that, but kind of a little bit away from it, but still part of the whole festival itself.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm sticking that on the screen now. You should have seen Owen's face there. I was watching closely. You're thinking about travel plans already, possibly there, I think, Owen, for this one.
Oh yes, up on a hill and be a festival. Yes.
With resident yodeler.
And I must say as well, I was in Caldash last week, and unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the Black Sheep because I know some of your beers are there.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
So I'm sure the next time I visit Cal, when I come down with the buns and the eclairs and everything else, is a trip to the Black Sheep Brewery or Andsome Brewery.
A little bit further and you come to us, but beer at the Black Sheep, they've done a really good job there. The inside of it kind of reminds you half of an English pub and half of an Irish pub when you go in. It's really nice. It's really, really nice, and they have music most weekends, and yeah, it's very good. They've got Guinness on tap, which is everyone loves Guinness on tap, and it's a good Guinness as well. It's nice.
She knows how to pour it, doesn't she? Because she worked. This is Bea we're talking about, who's been on the show here actually, and there was a little bit of a scare because her Google link online disappeared. And everybody feared the worst. And I think she had some sort of mix-up. She had 2 listings, and one of them got deleted by Google, possibly. And it looked like she disappeared off the scene, much to a lot of people's horror. But she's no problem at all. She's in good shape and developing the business in the way that you're hearing James and Owen talking about with much fondness. And you haven't even been there, Owen, have you? You're talking about this.
No, I've only just managed to stand outside and everything was closed, so I was dragged away by Tina and Brenda in tears.
Yeah, you're right, mate. Yeah, but a mythical place, clearly, a pilgrimage that didn't work out.
The Black Sheep going to the Black Sheep pub, you know.
I want that photo. 14th, 15th, and 16th then of June. This is the first of its kind. The I mean, what's it going to be called? The Lourinhã Craft Beer Festival, or have you got a play on words or some other name for it?
That I'm not privy to those decisions. Those ones. It's part of the annual water festival there. So I don't know whether they're going to give it an extra name for the craft beer side, or we're just going to come under the water festival. That I do not know. But everyone's super interested. They've been trying to get this going for 3 years, and just hasn't been the local support or the local interest. But this year, for some reason, that's completely changed. The camera are on board with it, and everybody, you know, all the authorities really, really want it to happen. So, yeah, this is great news for us, obviously.
And there's it's funny because the word camera obviously means.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
I was going to say the same thing.
It's town hall here in Portugal, but camera. When you say camera in England, obviously, you know, camera for taking photographs, but camera, the campaign for real ale, right?
Yes. Yeah, the campaign for real ale.
Yeah. So, and what came to mind with that is Portugal should be a destination for people who want to party from May to November, really, on a global stage. You know, people go to Rio, don't they, for a week, maybe for a week or two for Carnival there, but you can party all day and night pretty much in Portugal from around now until winter time, but it's not known as an international partying location, and this could be part of it. The craft beer niche. I'm sure a camera, once they know about these festivals, will be on you get a few of those old giffers from the camera coming over to Portugal. They could mix it up with golf if they want to or not, or just come and bring their cups like this. This is mine. This is a collector's item from the Korea Beer Oktoberfest of 2019, I think it says on there. So, and you know, the camera guys will have lots of little cups like this, won't they? Owen's gone to get his. He's gone to get his camera favorite drinking receptacle. You've got a nice stainless cup there, I see, James, as well.
Yeah, it hides what's in there, so I can put, you know, beer in there or coffee, and no one knows what I'm drinking. That's the reason.
Very good. Okay, we've made a note there. What did you run off to get there, Owen?
It was my glass which was presented to me when I did the harvest for the Letra Brewery.
Oh, okay. These are lovely collector's items. So that's from Letra as well. These are fondly valued ephemera, aren't they, from the brewing scene here? So fantastic. So yeah, if you're watching camera in the UK, come over. Come to the new it's a spin-off from the Water Festival. It's like water with added value, basically, isn't it? In Lourinhã on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of June.
Water with a hit.
Yes, Water Plus, the Water Plus Festival. Aveiro coming up, of course. I don't know if you're making your way up to there, James. This starts in a couple of days' time. It's back. Bigger and better than ever. Please come along and join the fun at this super friendly craft beer festival. Get to meet the brewers and taste their varied, stunning varieties of professionally crafted beers, from light, crisp lagers to heavy, hard-hitting ales. He's got a way with words, as by Andy. There will also be some fantastic live bands, food and other entertainment. Come for a couple or stay for a few. Either way, you're guaranteed a fabulous experience. P.S. The Aveiro expats are there Saturday. So there's a few gumpers on Saturday there from 5 p.m. Are you going up to the Aveiro Beer Festival there, James, or is that too far for you?
We're not. No, we tried to get in, but that one was full this year. Seriously? Straight away. So it's how fast you get into one. The next one we've got is a really big one, which I'm a bit worried about actually. Which is in Certes, called Provart, over the summer solstice, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of June. And that one looks really, really insane, really good. But I'm a bit worried I can't produce enough beer. I think we kind of like leapt in with both feet. And now looking at it and looking at the amount of people that go to it, it's the 10th iteration, I believe, of it. And the music lineup looks amazing as well. It's right. I mean, it's right in the middle of Portugal. Like if you don't know Certes, it's in the Castelo Branco region, and it's over summer solstice, so it's going to be baking hot. And so they don't start it till 5 in the evening, and it goes till 4 in the morning. It's a proper for 4 nights. So we're kind of wondering, myself and my wife are going to be the only ones there. So we're kind of wondering, what we've done there. But I think, and it looks fantastic. I've heard only good things about it. So that's our next one. We've got these 2 in a row: Water Festival, then Probart the week after.
How
so
lovely. All of this coming up. Well, when you're a craft beer brewer, you can't exactly just nip down to Macro and top up, can you?
No, exactly. Yeah, that's what we're planning it now. We're starting it now. So lots of the stouts and stuff I've already started to make, and the sours and stuff like that. I've already started to get them in.
Amazing. Yeah. Serta, tell us about that, Owen. I know you know Serta.
Beautiful, beautiful place. And I'm not sure if the whole thing in the park or not, in the large park they have in the centre of Serta, but what a place to have it. In particular, if they've got live music on, amazing. But as you say, there's lots and lots of people that go, and they consume lots and lots, believe me, which is good.
I think we went to that when we lived in central Portugal. It's a beautiful location on the river. And for some reason, there was a yoga class involved. It was beer yoga that somebody had put on with a tongue in their cheek. And it was great. The atmosphere was fantastic. I think it's possibly the first beer festival we went to in Portugal some years back now. But what a location. And as you said, James, it will be baking hot, won't it, in the middle of summer there. This is central Portugal. When it gets hot there, it gets really hot. What's your recommendation for that? You got to hydrate as well as drink the beer, right, Owen? Or just drink beer?
Just drink the beer.
And locally, there's a legendary butcher in Serta, isn't there?
Absolutely fantastic butcher. Everything that he has in the shop there, apart from the poultry, everything is traceable. So from the animal's health, if it's been ill or anything like that, everything's there. There are trophies all over the place. Garbo and I can't remember. The video from
you did us a tour. You did us. I don't know if we were live there, but you did us a tour of that butcher, and somebody else was talking about it the other day. I said, "Yeah, Owen told us about that years ago." So this is Craft Beer Corner, but it's also Ask Anything About Portugal and food, especially. So if you're looking for a very, very good butcher, possibly one of the best in Portugal, that's also in Serta, which is a tiny, inoffensive little place in right as you say, James, in the middle of Portugal. Are there any other things? Anything other things to commend about the town there from your knowledge of it, Owen?
Oh, everything really from the food. Just it's well kept as well. I've never seen a city or a town centre that's so well kept and clean. Yeah. There's the former mill down by the river that they used to press the olives, which is now a bar, which is lovely.
Yeah.
The only downside to that was before I found the craft ale here in Portugal, so I was stuck to drinking the Superbock and the Sagres. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but my preference, I would say. But yeah, lots of bars, friendly people, a great place to be. Actually, it's a nice place.
And a river beach. You can swim in the river there, can't you? So that will be.
You can, yeah. Plenty of river beaches there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. I think James grimaced slightly when you mentioned Superbock and Sagres there. Sorry. It says discernible wince when those brands were mentioned.
It's like a twitch. It's like a twitch for all those in the craft bit for like brewers. If somebody's really cringes his word.
Right, Pete was talking to Paul here. We've got a few comments coming in. Any questions you've got about craft beer, do pop them in the chat. I hope Erica Kay, your husband, is enjoying being here this morning. We still haven't found out what his favourite craft beer is. Paul, the whole region and most of Extremadura was all under the Roman Principality of Lusitania, and therefore I don't think it's translatable. It stands alone. Thanks, Carl. You've just made sense of the word, but not in a way you think. You're welcome. Naked gardening, a theme we're struggling to get away from this morning. Dirty and grubby in all the wrong nooks and crannies, not to mention the mosquitoes. Yes, but think of the bathing afterwards, the scrubbing each other down after a hard day of naked gardening. Bon dia, Monson from Dimash.
Oh, Monson.
Hola, bon dia to you, Dimash, as well. Good to see you here. And this, I think, was about your stout. James, that's delicious in a Homer Simpson sort of way.
I was having a Homer Simpson moment when it was said, believe me.
I saw you. Question for James: how well does that stout keep in the heat? So that's another worry for you going to Serta. these beers are traveling a long way and they're going to be in the heat. How are you managing that?
That is a big problem. I don't know what we get. I think we're going to go there in the evening, overnight in the van, so that'll be fine. And hopefully there's somewhere to put all the beers, which won't be too hot. That's one of the worries. But I think we're gonna sell them very quickly. So they're all going to be in kegs. So hopefully it'll be fine. That's what I'm fingers crossed. I'm thinking that this is the 10th time they've done it, and there'll be organisation for that because all the brewers are in the same situation. But yeah, there's nothing really we can do. We can just sell. But it's 4 days, and so the beer should be fine for those 4 days in kegs. It should be fine. I'm fingers crossed.
This is a movie. It's a movie, though, isn't it? It's like Ocean's 11, where there's a bonded warehouse in Sertal with all the brewers' beer being kept cool in it. And the movie could be of a team of craft beer experts who are also acrobats and safecrackers and a group like that, like Ocean's 11, and they break in overnight and help themselves. It's the biggest, like craft beer heist could be the name of the movie as well. Will there be Portuguese Morris men making merry at the festivities with the maypole dancers? Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about camera, you do think of sort of old guys, don't you, with their tankards, maybe with woolly jumpers on, and a Morris man in the background. Is that a thing here in Portugal? Is there an equivalent of that in Portugal, James?
Not that I've seen. I don't think there's. I mean, there's lots of traditional dancing, but I don't know about you, Owen. I've never seen anything quite that gets to Morris dancing level.
No. Well, possibly me. I've done 3 or 4 times, but that's about
it. I was just getting my handkerchief out.
Yeah, I think I do throw shapes at a couple of classes.
A Ginginha inspired beer would be interesting. João de Nort's suggestion here: hints of chocolate and cherries. Have you ever thought of that? A Ginginha?
We have one. Yeah, thanks for the post. We have one on at the moment. It was a project I completely forgot to talk about last time. I've been saving it, and we just put it. We had a gap in the tap, so I put it on. It's a sour cherry robust porter is what we have on at the moment. It tastes like exactly like a Black Forest Gatto. It's very weird.
I'll get me choked.
He's on his way. A beer that tastes like a Black Forest Gatto. It's like takes you right back to the 70s. A nice steak and chips with that on the side.
I really didn't know what to expect taste-wise. We had a rough idea profile taste-wise what we wanted to go for. But when my wife tasted it, she was like, "Wow, that is exactly like an old school Black Forest Gatto." You get the sweetness first of the chocolate, then afterwards you get this sourness of the cherries. It's about 7.5%, and interestingly enough, it splits families down the middle. You know, if someone comes in, a group of people come in, half people will say it's undrinkable, and half people will be, "Wow, that's the best beer I've ever had," sort of thing. It's a very divisive beer.
You could call it the Brexit beer on that basis.
That's one of the topics we're not allowed to talk about in the bar, Carl. Politics, football, Brexit. That's it now. Religion's taking a back seat.
Right, another question. And the American goes, this is James, English pub, Irish pub, what's the difference? Oh, and what's a pub? So can we have a quick introduction? What do you think the difference is between an English pub and Irish pub, and even what a pub is, just to explain to American people what it should be?
For me, a pub is somewhere, firstly, that's more about community, I suppose. So you go in, you have a barman, or a landlord, I guess, who's the guy in charge of the bar or the pub. He should be relatable to everybody, but in a very sarcastic and friendly but sarcastic way. You know, you when you go into a pub, you open yourself up for certain amounts of abuse, but then you can give the abuse back in a very friendly way. That's it. And then there is beer there as well. That's a sideline sort of thing. So while people are talking and assaulting each other lightly in a polite way, they'll drink some beer. That's a pub. English pub's obviously a bit more reserved, I would say, and an Irish pub's probably lots of dancing and darker beers. But that's in a nutshell. I guess it's quite a complicated one. What do you say to that?
I like that a lot, and it's a refuge, isn't it? Traditionally, my mum and dad owned a pub when I was a kid, and the interesting thing about that was there was a lino floored public bar that had a pool table and a pinball machine and the gents' toilet at one end, and it was just made for drinking. That's what it. And occasionally on a Saturday night, there'd be the sound of smashing glasses and shouting, and it was a proper Bristolian working men's pub. And then as you came in, actually, I've gone too far ahead there. It was called the Mechanics Arms, and you stepped off the street, and you were in a lobby. The first thing was a lobby with a window for selling the beer off license sales, and you could turn left into the raucous side with just a lino floor that got mopped down after each session, or you could go into the lounge on the right where the ladies might be taken in there, and some of the older, frailer gentlemen, or gangsters as well. Gangsters might go in on that side, and there would be settles and upholstery and a little bit more luxury, and there'll be a carpet as well. It'll be carpeted, and maybe a few more optics and sort of more sophisticated drinks to be had in there. But I mean, it was proper. That to me is a proper pub, and that was in the 1970s.
Yeah, but where was that? Kingswood? Was that Kingswood?
No, it was on the way to Kingswood. Yeah, on the Clouds Hill Road in St George.
Oh, okay. I've been to a pub in Kingswood, and that's probably top five. Won't go back. Like scared. I was scared to get out of my chair to leave in Kingswood.
Yeah.
That's
right. Right, my lover. What are you doing?
Different language down there. Yeah, obviously I'm from the Isle of Purbeck, so when you're talking about gangsters, they're more like farmer gangsters where I was from. I know you can't understand them if you're not from there. There would be lots of
gangsters. Okay, and what about you, Owen? I mean, you must have some very fond memories of British pubs up in the north there.
Absolutely, I can remember actually getting a job in a pub, and I lied about my age, and as a punishment, I drank, I think it was at least 7 or 8 shot glasses of Southern Comfort. And I was very, very ill. I couldn't sleep in the toilets. But to this day, if anybody opens a Southern Comfort near me, not only the memories, but the feeling of sickness always returns, I can tell you. But yeah, beautiful spitting sawdust places, not literally like that, but like the old smoke room separately, and then you have your pops right to the side. Yeah.
What lovely memories! What lovely memories of being unconscious in a toilet. You see, we've defined pubs, and we've defined British upbringing as well, right there. We didn't mean to, but you've got an insight into the British psyche there as well. Thanks, Owen. A divvy bar in an inner city in the US is a very different vibe and mental image than a British pub in the London or Edinburgh city centre. Yeah, I mean, it's a global motif, isn't it? The British pub, for sure. There should be a Gumper beer tour in Portugal. It's on its way. There's no doubt that will happen one of these days. Good morning to you, the global nobles. Vaguely remember some good camera festivals at Ali Pali, vaguely for the obvious reason. And a wine tour as well. So a craft beer tour with the Gumpers, wine tours as well. Yes, let's do all of these things. In Ireland, they make poutine with potato. Do they brew a similar alcohol in Portugal? It's usually sold discreetly in Ireland. Any veg-based concoctions that you're aware of, James, in Portugal?
Oh yeah, there's so many. If you normally when you go around to somebody's house, they've brewed something in the background in a tub somewhere. The guy who we buy our wood off to burn the wood burning fire, he makes an alcohol out of like clementines in the back garden, and he's a tiny little man, super strong. And every time I go around there to get the wood, a huge amount of wood, he does this like tour of his house. He shows me all the medals he's won for this weird sport I've never heard of before, and he insists that I sit and drink this alcohol with him, and I absolutely despise it. The first few go like this, and the next one goes over the shoulder. It is absolutely revolting. But yeah, so I'm kind of put off that. But some of the local guys here, our bank manager makes like Aguardente de Lourinhã, but it's obviously not Aguardente de Lourinhã. It's fantastic. He's got a little. I've got a little vineyard and stuff, and he's very pernickety about it and stuff. So when he comes in, which is often, he brings me a little sample of the latest one and stuff, and that's really nice. I think the Portuguese are really into doing stuff at home in the garden and sort of fermenting stuff, and they're very interesting.
Definitely. It's alive and well, isn't it? And if you go to a farm store, you can buy a still, can't you? The brewing equipment is there in the country stores, which is fantastic. James, will you be making it to the Beery Centre in September? I'm sure you know that one, James. And take care, everyone. We're off to Amaranth. Someone wants to swap some land with us. Wow. And I do. So we're concluding now. It's 10 o'clock. I do miss pub crawls. We had 100 pubs in Richmond. Now, that was a crawl. What does James think of mobile phones? Our local pub banned their use. Love it. Mobiles, yes or no, in your bar there, James?
No, we haven't banned it, but I would love to.
Okay, very good. I went back last weekend at the Duke's Head in Richmond Hill. The landlord has been there for 43 and a half years. That's the other thing, isn't it? These sour old landlords have been there for many years, and they've got an interesting wife often as well, haven't they? Recognized me from 20 years ago instantly and probably said, "What do you want?" As you walked in. Fantastic talking to you. All those memories. Thanks for telling us about your beer. The big day, obviously, that's the 14th, 15th, and 16th, was it, in Lourinhã?
That's right.
All right, looking forward to that. I want to come and join you there. I know Owen does. So last words, gentlemen, of craft beer, food, ask anything about Portugal, whatever you want to say. Firstly, you, Owen?
No, nothing much to say apart from enjoy the weather when it returns to us in a couple of days. And let's have some suggestions of something I could potentially cook the next time I'm on.
Very good. Okay, so the first Wednesday of next month of June, Owen offering to cook. What would you like him to cook? That's a lovely parting thought there. And hopefully naked as well, naturally.
Never going to happen.
All right, and James, what about you? What are your parting thoughts this morning?
Well, I was going to ask anybody who's listening whether they had any ideas for any new beers, just because a lot of ideas come from over that side of the bar. If anybody's got any kind of ideas as to what beers they miss or any ideas for beers they want us to brew, I thought that might be something we can make a small batch of them if anything sounds good.
How wonderful!
A plum porter.
A plum porter. It's on the way. It's on the way.
Plum.
It's coming. It's coming.
All right. So there's your first idea. Any others like that? Send them to me and I'll forward them on to James willingly. Or just why don't you go and visit his bar yourself and have a chat with him over the bar there and get some of that old pub British hospitality that we were talking about before. There's nothing like it in the world. Great work, gentlemen. I'll see you again next first Wednesday of the month for Craft Beer Corner. Thanks, James. Thanks, Owen. Great job. And we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. And bye for now. Let's go for a coffee. Coffee.